More game-changing permitted development rights are in the offing from good old Michael Gove. This time, these will benefit HMO property investors and developers. And these are an absolute godsend and a game changer. Stay tuned to find out more. I'll take you through exactly what these are. Now, if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon. We release 3 videos each and every week, and many of them are keeping you up to date with the latest changes and developments that are going on right now, and there are plenty of them on a weekly basis. Also, stay tuned till the end, and I'll tell you about a very, very special 12-month program we're launching where you can partner with us to implement these strategies and more. So HMOs then, houses in multiple occupation, are properties where you rent out room by room to tenants. Now, the demand now is for rooms that are a reasonable size and all have en suites. You can do up to 6 rooms in a house in an area that isn't Article 4. In other words, the council hasn't prevented you from doing 6 rooms, 6-room HMOs. You can do up to 6 rooms without the need for full planning permission. Now, if you can get up to 6 rooms, you get premium rents if you've got en suites, and you also make some pretty decent cash flow. And this is a fantastic strategy right now because HMO rents have pretty much gone through the roof for premium sized rooms. Now, how do these new PD rules help? Well, first of all, if you're going to do 6 rooms in a house, all with en suites, you need a pretty reasonable size house in the first place. And the way to get that house to a reasonable size is to extend it. Now, extensions require planning permission, and this is where this new government consultation will be an absolute game changer for property investors looking at building their HMO property empire. Now, this consultation was dropped by the government on the 13th of February. It ends on the 9th of April, and I'm going to encourage you and tell you how you can contribute to this consultation process and just tell Michael Gove, yes, 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 we want these changes right now. This whole consultation paper here, you can see it on screen, it shows exactly what these changes are. And basically, these are changes which householders will be able to do to their freehold dwelling house to extend the envelope without having to need to go for full planning permission. Now, we already have some PD rights for householders to extend their dwelling size. What this consultation proposes to do is increase those rights in some further areas and also clear up some stupid anomalies which have existed. So what can you do? Let's talk about single-storey extensions. With single-storey extensions at the moment, if you have a detached house, you can go up to 4 metres to the rear of the property. That is proposed to be extended to 5 metres. If you have any other type of house which isn't detached, currently you can go to the rear on a single-storey extension up to 3 metres deep. Now you can go up to 4 metres deep. That's the consultation proposal. So there's good news for 2-storey extensions as well. These will be allowed to go from 3 metres in depth to 4 metres in depth. There is a restriction as well with 2-storey extensions that the new boundary rear wall needs to be at least 7 metres away from the end of the garden. Now, if the adjacent properties are non-residential, i.e. commercial properties, then that restriction will be removed. Now, I've got some big changes to come, so stay tuned. If you're liking this video, smash that like button as well. Subscribe and hit the bell icon because there are plenty of new changes to come, and we'll keep you up to date first on this channel. Now, this is good news when you're buying properties where the gardens ain't too big, because with all these permitted development extensions, there used to be this rule where they said, well, the enlarged buildings must not occupy more than 50% of the curtilage of the land. So in other words, you take your you take the plot size basically, front garden, rear garden, driveway, whatever you've got, and you take the footprint of the enlarged building that you want to create. And previously, that enlarged footprint can't occupy more than 50% of your overall plot size. That is going to be removed. They're recognizing the thing that not everyone wants massive gardens. So this is a little bit of common sense here, amendment. So I mentioned before about 2-storey extensions. They can go now to 4 metres in depth. but what about the height of them? I've got a diagram here which shows what the new rules really propose. What they're saying is that as long as you can't see any part of the rear extension from the street frontage, then you're good to go in terms of height up to the highest point of the existing roof line. That creates some great opportunities for doing loft rooms in the enhanced space as well. Now finally, some common sense to permitted development for householders. You can do a wraparound extension at the rear. Now let me explain the ludicrousy of the rules, how they stand today and what is proposed by these new changes. So you can see by this diagram here, under permitted development, you're allowed to do a side extension as shown in the diagram. You're also allowed to do a single story extension at the rear. Now you can see that looks a little bit crazy. Doesn't it make sense to join that new rear extension with the new side extension to create a nice little wraparound extension for open plan dining, living and all that kind of stuff? Well, if you want to do that, you have to go back to those pesky planners in your local authority and apply for a full planning application for that infill. And that creates time delay, cost delays, and it's also often refused by those planners who simply don't like you implementing these PD rights. Now here is what's proposed. Under PD, you can do the full wraparound extension and make those open plan spaces. Now when you're doing permitted development extensions, in terms of creating new space, the cheapest per square foot that gives you the biggest bang for buck is to create new loft space. Second most expensive is single story extensions. Third most expensive is two-story extensions. Fourth most expensive is basements. So the more space you can create in the loft, the better. But under the old rules, for some reason, there was a limit on the amount of extra cubic meterage you can create in a loft, which was 40 cubic meters of extra space you can create in a loft in a terraced house and 50 cubic meters in all other cases. Now this obviously doesn't make any sense because, you know, the houses vary, come in all shapes and sizes. So why have this arbitrary limit? Well, it's proposed that that limit is going to be removed altogether so you can create as much space as you like in your loft. Now, of course, when you're building a loft, you also want some kind of dormer window. Of course, you're not going to have them at the front of the property because that affects the street scene, but you're allowed to put dormers in the back. But there's always been this rule about the dormer being subservient to the main building line, as you can see in this diagram. It's 20 centimetres in from the rear wall of the house. Now this creates all sorts of, well, it doesn't create problems, it creates additional cost, because to support that dormer 20 centimetres in, you have to provide some structural means of support to do that. But if you can just build the dormer level with the outside wall of the building, then you've already got that outside wall on which to support, so the building cost becomes slightly cheaper. And guess what they've done? They're allowing you to do that now. So that's going to give you marginal extra space, but it will save you on build costs of actually building that dormer. Now I tell you, with all these changes, freehold houses which aren't in conservation areas, which are close to good transport amenities and local amenities, are going to be absolute gold mines for converting to HMOs. More on that in future videos as well. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon and like this video if you're liking this content. But there's still more to come. Now, one problem people encounter when they do loft conversions is the fact that there just ain't enough space in the loft to provide you with a decent head height. Now, that's often because the ceiling, which is directly underneath the loft space, has ceiling joists. And those joists are a lot narrower because basically people don't need to walk on them. Floor joists, they need to support furniture and people walking about, so those tend to be a lot thicker. So once you replace those ceiling joists with floor joists, you still need sufficient head height to walk around in the loft. So what I've been doing to circumvent that problem is to, where possible, reduce the floor to ceiling height on the floor below the loft, because often those are things at 2.5 or 2.6 meters in height. You only need 2.3. So you just reduce the floor to ceiling height of the floor below the loft That accommodates the floor beams that you need for the loft floor, which allows you to have a decent head height in the loft space. Now, of course, that's all well and good, you can do all of that, but there's more disruption to the building, there's more cost and all that kind of stuff. What they're proposing is to allow you to increase the ridge height, increase the top of your roof height by 30 centimetres, which is exactly the amount of space you need to accommodate a floor beam. This will give people plenty of options to do loft conversions and also get them done far more economically. Adding extra floors to buildings. This is an interesting new PD right that's being proposed. Now, there were PD rights before that allowed you to put extra floors on buildings. Now, these have to be not in a conservation area, and they do not apply to buildings which are constructed before 1948. It's proposed to remove that 1948 arbitrary date. So basically, if the building is not in a conservation area and is not listed, you'll be good to go for adding extra floors. Now, before you get too excited about all these proposals, remember these are just proposals. They're subject to a consultation process that the government launched on the 13th of February. The end date for the consultation is 9th of April. And here is what I want you to do. As well as liking this video and subscribing to this channel and hitting the bell icon so you're notified when we send you updates. And also I would like you to share this with your property friends in their WhatsApp groups and all of that, because we want as many people as possible to contribute to this government consultation process. Because mark my words, there will be a lot of NIMBYs and moaning people who are planning officers in council offices up and down the country who will be on this consultation website saying, no, I don't like this, I don't like that. So what you need to do is get on this consultation and say, yes, Mr. Gove, we love these proposals, bring them on now. The more people that do that, the more likely these proposals will come into effect. For what it's worth, I think it's very likely these changes will come into effect because the government clearly wants us to build, because that is good for the economy, it's good for property prices, it's good for everything. So the link is in the description below. Make sure you click on that and contribute to that consultation paper. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know why I believe the next few years is a very, very special time for creating wealth through real estate here in the UK. Now, we're about to launch in April a brand new 12-month program for people who want to capitalize on the real estate opportunities here in the UK. This will be a special program where we will give you full training into the strategies we're using to create wealth through real estate right now. We'll introduce you to our contacts and our power team, and we're also looking to partner with you as your JV partner and a whole lot more. Now, this program is only for a limited number of people. It'll be for the keenest of the keen who have fire in the belly to really change their lives through real estate. Now, if you want to register your interest in applying for this program as soon as we announce it, click on this link below that you'll see on the screen, or scan this QR code that you see on the screen to register your interest to apply for this special program as soon as it's launched. As I said, that's all coming up in April. Register your interest and see you guys in the next video. The Baker Street Property Meet is the UK's largest and #1 property investors networking event. The property market is going through monumental change right now, and at Baker Street Property Meet we aim to keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks and insider tactics to help you keep on top of your property investing game and succeed in these troubled economic times. The Baker Street Property Meet is fundamentally about networking, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at Baker Street we aim to connect you with the people to make your property journey a monumental success. There's no better place to be to further your property investment journey than the Baker Street Property Meet. So make sure you're here, you're connecting with myself and Andrew Roberts, our expert guest speakers and 300 passionate property people each and every month. See you at the next meet. Get your spot at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com.